A satanic sacrifice. That's what they think will make their heavy metal band famous. 3 teenage boys obsessed with Slayer decide they need to kill a virgin. So they choose her, 15-year-old Elyse Pahler. Blonde, blue-eyed, innocent. The case was so shocking, it inspired the movie Jennifer's Body. But this isn't Hollywood, this is real life. And it all started with 3 nobodies who wanted to be rock stars. Thanks for joining us. I'm Amy. Let's recap. It's late, just after 10 p.m. 15-year-old Elyse Pahler carefully arranges pillows under her blanket to make it look like she's asleep, and then she slips out through the French doors of her bedroom quietly so her parents don't hear. She thinks she's meeting up with a few guys from school. New friends, nothing serious, just a little late-night hangout. But what Elyse doesn't know is that this night has been planned down to the minute, and she's not gonna make it home. Most nights, you'd find Joseph Fiorella holed up in his bedroom with 2 friends, getting high, blasting Slayer, and talking about one thing, a human sacrifice. They weren't just into death metal, they were consumed by it. They had their own band, a heavy metal group they named Hatred, and they believed they were gonna blow up. But in their minds, talent wasn't enough. They thought fame required something darker, something violent, a virgin's blood, and they had someone in mind. Blonde-haired, blue-eyed, angel-faced Elyse. She's the perfect target. A freshman at Arroyo Grande High School in California, she'd crossed paths with 2 of them. 16-year-old Delashmutt, who'd already been expelled for drugs, and 15-year-old Joseph Fiorella, who left to be homeschooled. The third friend, 17-year-old Royce Casey, went to a different school, but for a time, all 3 boys rode the same bus, and that's where the plan began. Everyone thought they were creepy. They acted creepy. They told anyone who'd listen they were into Satan, death metal, and dark rituals. They wrote disturbing, violent songs, especially Joseph. He treated Slayer lyrics like gospel. One line from Slayer's Kill Again stuck with him. Lift the gleaming blade, slice her flesh to shreds, watch the blood flow free, hatred growing stronger. That wasn't just a lyric to him, it was a blueprint. At band practice, the talk turned deadly. They debated how to do it. They'd heard there was a satanic altar somewhere in the eucalyptus groves near Elyse's house. That might work. But then they went darker. They talked about building a metal box big enough to hold her, filling it with water, sealing her inside, then cooking her over a fire and eating her flesh. After days of this kind of sick brainstorming, they settled on a swampy stretch of land they called the Pit of Death. It was hidden on the mesa, surrounded by thick eucalyptus trees. The entire area felt like a natural altar. They believed if they made the perfect sacrifice, the devil would bless their hands, their music, and give them the power to play harder, faster, and better. With a virgin offering, the devil himself would help their band go professional. Their words. Elyse was in her teenage rebellion era, and these guys, with their talk about music, death, heaven, and hell, they were interesting. So when they called her on July 22nd, 1995, and told her to sneak out and meet them, she said yes. She couldn't resist the thrill, and it wasn't the first time. Just weeks earlier, she'd met up with Joseph, Jacob, and another boy, Travis Williams. They walked out to the mesa near a steep ravine where Jacob pretended to slip down the side and Elyse followed him, out of sight from the road. And that's when Joseph tossed a knife to Travis and told him to do it. But he didn't. He froze. 2 months later, Travis would shoot an elderly woman in the head during a robbery, so it's not like he had a problem with murder. Maybe he didn't like the weapon, or maybe he just wasn't ready. But that day, Elyse walked home thinking the whole thing was a joke, just some messed up talk. But this time, they're not playing. This time, it's real. It's 10 p.m. when the call comes in from a payphone outside the Mesa View Market. They convince her, sneak out, meet us. Now back at home, Elyse hangs up the phone, tells her parents she's going to bed, and they never see her alive again. She slips out, meets the boys outside their house, and they start walking. Quiet road, just a quarter mile to the mesa. They pass a joint as they go. Now, Elyse has no idea what's coming. They reach a clearing surrounded by eucalyptus trees. That's where it happens. Jacob steps behind her, wraps his leather belt around her neck. He pulls tight. Royce holds her down, and Joseph plunges a 6-inch hunting knife into her throat. And then Jacob takes the knife, then Royce. Each one takes a turn. Their band, Hatred, together offering up Elyse as a sacrifice, a deal with the devil, all in exchange for fame, talent, the ultimate ticket to rock stardom. They take turns stabbing her again and again, more than a dozen times. Elyse, though, is still alive, in agonizing pain, but none of the wounds are fatal. She lays on the ground, bleeding out slowly, crying out for her mom, praying to Jesus to make it stop. As she begs for her life, they keep going. They're stabbing, stomping on her back and her neck, and then they pull down her sweatpants and allegedly violate her body. At one point, they even talk about cutting off her limbs, freezing them, eating them later. But Royce says no. He tells them it's time to leave, so they walk away and leave her there alone, tossing the knife into a swampy hole behind them, like she's nothing. And for 8 months, Elyse Pahler is a missing person. But outside of her friends and family, no one's really looking. Police assume she's a runaway. They figure she's long gone. They don't dig any deeper. But the boys who killed her, they can't keep their mouths shut. Within weeks, Jacob is bragging that his band sacrificed a virgin. He even claims they went back and had sex with her dead body in the days afterward. But no one believes him. Not even when Elyse's face is staring back at them from missing persons flyers all over town. Royce keeps a journal as a classroom project. 2.5 months after the murder, he writes about fighting a kid after school and includes this disturbing passage. "I'm allied with the darkened souls. Satan's arose and shall conquer and reign. In the Bible, it says that in the end, Lucifer will bring out his best in everything. Music, love, murder. All the evil there is in the world was created by Lucifer. All the psycho serial killers and rapists don't know that if they would just build an altar of sacrifice and kill the person on the altar and have sexual intercourse, virgin meat is the ultimate sacrifice." It's all right there. The motive, the mindset, the warning, and still no one connects the dots. It's only a matter of time before the guilt or the fear catches up with one of them. And it caught up with Royce Casey. He confessed his role in the crime to a clergyman. That clergyman contacted police, and Royce laid it all out. He describes the murder to detectives and leads them to Elyse's body. All those months, she's been right there, so close to home. Some say Royce found God. Others think the guilt finally broke him. But according to him, he came forward because he was afraid he'd be next. Within days, all 3 boys, Royce Casey, Jacob Delashmutt, and Joseph Fiorella, are under arrest. They don't fight it. Each one gives a statement. Each one admits they've planned the murder for weeks. Prosecutors don't hold back. They call it what it was, a premeditated satanic sacrifice in the name of heavy metal and fame. Joseph, the youngest and the so-called mastermind, was sentenced to 26 years to life. Jacob Delashmutt gets 25 to life, and Royce Casey, the one who confessed, he also gets 25 to life. Jacob is out now. He was just released in July of 2025. Royce keeps coming up for parole, but every time the governor keeps reversing the board's decision, saying, this man is not safe for society. He has never taken real responsibility, which is terrifying. I know we hear a lot about satanic sacrifices and it's all usually just BS, but in this case, it really sounds like these kids were sick enough to believe that it was actually going to happen. Even though, of course, later after they're all convicted and in jail, they're all saying, no, it wasn't anything like that. But was it at the time? Did they all have this group hallucination crazy period that things were just going to work out, that Satan really was going to make them rock stars if they sacrificed this innocent girl. It's just unbelievable. Let's talk about it in the comments. And if you like getting all the crime in half the time, I'm Amy. Chris and I are back with new recaps 3 times a week. Hope to see you here again soon. Until next time, stay safe. It's crazy out there.